Hello and welcome to 5-Year Club video number 327. I was speaking with someone the other day, and I pointed out to them, I said, the best time to start a business is when the economy is in the shitter. And they're like, what? What are you talking about? Because it's not very intuitive. So I thought I would find and read an article that explains a little bit of the background behind that. So this is from Inc.com. This is the best time to start a business. And I think when it says that, it's saying that the article is going to tell you the best time to start a business, not this isn't right now is the best time to start a business. New research shows companies that were started right after the financial crisis had a higher survival rate. All right, and let's get that moved up a bit. All right. Okay, we got a smiling woman, and we got a truck. The best time to start a business may be right after companies crash and burn. That's the finding of a researcher at the University of Chicago's Booth School of Business. Companies founded from 2009 to 2011 had a nearly 51% chance of still being in business 5 years later, almost 3% higher than the average survival of a company for the previous 15 years, according to Waverly Deutsch, a professor of entrepreneurship at Booth. During the same 3-year period, which followed the crash of the global financial system and included the worst of the recession, the number of company failures surpassed the number of startups, Deutsch said, relying on census statistics. A total of 211,496 companies shut down. So more companies failed than were started. Let's see, and that is the same 3-year period. Yeah, okay. So in other words, not very many people are choosing to start a business, but the people who are choosing to start a business are succeeding at higher rates than in a market where all the businesses seem to be doing well. This seems to have left a gap in the market, Deutsch wrote, adding, so it would seem that right after a market downturn is a good time for entrepreneurs to start new ventures. Deutsch noted that the only other period from 2001 to 2016 when businesses' 5-year survival rates reached 50% was in 2002 and 2003, after the dot-com bust, in which thousands of tech and other companies failed. Even companies in industries hard hit by the Great Recession had good 5-year survival rates, Deutsch said. Retail companies started in 2011 had a 56.1% survival rate, and construction firms had a 50.4% survival rate. And then we've got like some advertisements. All right. So let's talk a little bit about why this might be true. Right? Why do you have a higher survival rate when you start your business in the middle of a recession? Well, for sure part of it's probably self-selection, right? Like if you still have enough in savings to start a business when the stock market has dropped by 40%, you probably have quite a bit of money. And since the stock market is rising, right, like as you are starting that business, you're only getting more money in the, whatever nest egg that is. And that promotes financial stability. Another fact, I guess, from this is that, many of the competitors who developed in markets that were healthier may have not been constructed to survive a downturn. So while they're dying, you are free from the shackles of experience to start a more efficient company during bad times. And bad times do encourage efficiency. So you're unlikely to get funding or investment for a company that is wasting lots of money when everything is in the crapper. It's much more likely that the business you start is going to be a very practical business, and it's much more likely that you are going to have revenue in the business plan earlier than if you started a business when things were booming and you just thought you had to get users. So that's kind of the gist of it. But what's the takeaway from this? At least for me, right? So setting aside the self-selection stuff, because I think that there's nothing much you can do about that part of it, right? Like if you don't have a bunch of money sitting around right now, then maybe you'll have it later, but you don't have it right now, so it doesn't matter. And looking only at the other parts, it says to me that you need to run your business as if you're in a recession, regardless of if you're in a recession. You need to think about making revenue early. You need to think about doing something that's very practical for people. You know, even if you look at some of the very successful tech companies today, like Uber is very simple in terms of its business model, at least in terms of its business model for me. It's, Lewis, you pay half of what you would pay to get your ride to the airport. You pay half of what you would pay a taxi for the same ride. Well, I mean, that's like, I don't even have to think about that. That's how easy that business is. So it's not surprising to me that they're a unicorn and they're worth billions of dollars and they've grown super fast. And actually, you know what? Uber was started during the recession, I think. Yeah, so point is, don't trust that the money's just going to fall out of the sky. You know, at some point, have a plan to get some kind of revenue in the first 6 months, the first year, or don't start the business. It's a bad idea. And the other thing is, you know, and I had a friend who started a business, and she told me she didn't realize kind of like how important this is that when you buy stuff for the business, know how it's going to increase your income. If you don't know how the purchase is going to increase your income, you should seriously consider that maybe it's not a good purchase. Because there are lots of things that you can buy for a business that will not bring more money in the front door. And if it won't bring more money in the front door and you're an early business, then spending that money is just shortening your runway. It's just reducing your options to spend on things that will bring more money into your business. So yeah, like, yes, is this a conservative tack on business? I guess it is. But, and you know, for sure, like this article doesn't go into whether these are the reasons why these businesses stay open. So maybe I'm completely full of crap. I would love to hear other perspectives on it. But I tend to think that I'm not full of crap. And that practical businesses with a particular eye towards efficiency tend to succeed more than aspirational businesses without early revenue plans. Alrighty, well that is it for 5-Year Club video number 327. Sorry I can't give you a recession right now to encourage you to start a business. Fortunately, I don't think you need a recession. You just need to pretend that you're in one. And then you can have all the same benefits. Woo! Alright. Have a fabulous evening.